I was definitely worried about it. Started off the camp, I think like a month and a half ago, torn the tendon. They told me I was not going to heal.
Just like his boxing friend Gervonta Davis, David Benavidez has announced his retirement following a devastating knockout loss to David Morrell. Leading up to the fight, Benavidez made bold promises, and oddsmakers favored him to win. However, the bout was less about experience and more about raw skill, power, and intelligence, areas where Morrell excelled. In a stunning display, Morrell dominated, proving superior in every aspect. This fight will undoubtedly be remembered as one of the most impressive of 2025, marking the end of Benavidez's career in a shocking and unexpected fashion.
Only thing about what's ahead of me, I knew that this fight was potentially, we could make it.
First major boxing event of the year thrilled fans, especially with the excitement of one David facing another. However, many had backed the wrong David. As the bell rang, the tension and animosity in the ring intensified, and both fighters threw heavy punches. Unfortunately for Benavidez, it simply wasn't his night. Nothing went his way, and he suffered a tough defeat. After the fight, he appeared at the press conference to announce his retirement, ending his career with an impressive record of 29 fights, 28 wins, and just 1 loss, including 24 knockouts. A shocking conclusion to his journey.
If you wanted to fight me and told me to go down to 168, I don't care about that money. I don't care about none of that. I was at 168 for a while.
With David Benavidez's decision to retire, believing he still has a bright future in boxing, a potential fight against the winner of the undisputed World Light Heavyweight Championship between Dimitri Bivol and BBV remains an option. He could also face longtime rival Canelo Alvarez if Turki Alaki sanctions the bout. However, Benavidez isn't considering any of these opportunities. He has made it clear that he is hanging up his gloves for good. Speaking at the press conference, he stated, "I told myself that if I don't win this, I will stop the sport. I've enjoyed my moments, and I've had fun, but it's fine." His decision marks the end of an era.
I don't care. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep training. Then I hurt this hand. And they tell me, oh, well, you got to take a break from
Benavidez's retirement announcement echoes the words of his boxing friend, Devon "Tank" Davis, who recently stated he would leave the sport at the end of 2025. Unlike Benavidez, Davis isn't stepping away due to a loss, but by personal choice. Meanwhile, Jose Benavidez Sr., David's father and trainer, believes David Morrell felt the pre-fight pressure after a heated final press conference in Las Vegas. Tensions erupted at the MGM Grand Arena, with both undefeated fighters and their teams exchanging insults ahead of their much-anticipated light heavyweight showdown. The build-up only added to the drama of fight night.
We have to look impressive in order to keep getting better and better and better. I think David has a lot to prove.
Dismissed suggestions that the fiery pre-fight build-up could serve as a distraction, insisting that Team Benavidez remained fully focused on the threat posed by the dangerous southpaw David Morrell. "No, we're not distracted. We're just excited," Benavidez Sr. told BN. "This is a big fight. These are the fights we want. Dangerous fights. I've always said Morrell is a dangerous fighter, a young left-hander with a strong amateur pedigree. He's a 2-time world champion, so we're not underestimating him. He's a good fighter, but I believe David Benavidez is on another level, and I think he'll prove that on Saturday." Much of the pre-fight discussion centered around the experience advantage Benavidez holds in the professional ranks. While Morrell boasts an impressive amateur background, he has only been past the 4th round 4 times as a professional, all against competition at a much lower level than what he faces this weekend. Benavidez, on the other hand, has fought nearly 3 times as many professional rounds since making his debut as a 16-year-old in 2013. Along the way, he has secured victories over elite opponents, including former world champions Demetrius Andrade, Alexander Gvozdyk, and Caleb Plant. For Benavidez Sr., this disparity in experience and his son's ability to handle the pressure of a high-stakes grudge match could be the difference on fight night. "I think Morrell's nervous. Their whole team is nervous. We're not nervous. We're happy," he said. David has been in this position before, like with Caleb Plant. That was the biggest rivalry for years, and David handled it well. That motivates him. He had to grind, he had to struggle, and now we're here. We're not going to let this guy take everything we've worked hard for. When asked for a final prediction, Benavidez Sr. envisioned a painful night for Morrell. vowing that the Cuban would regret underestimating his son and making light of him in the pre-fight buildup. "I think once Morrell feels the power, he's going to try to box," he said. "But it's not going to be enough. David is going to do what he's supposed to do, follow the game plan and keep winning fights." Jose Benavidez Sr. fired back at David Morrell's pre-fight trash talk, mocking his opponent's claim that David Benavidez fights like a robot. "He says David is a robot? Well, he forgot to mention AI robots," Benavidez Sr. quipped. "I think he's going to get hit all over the place. Uppercuts, hooks, body shots. I'm actually happy he's underestimating David. His team should be telling him, hey man, you need to take this seriously because David's a damn good fighter." But no, they're saying he's flat-footed, slow, and not that good. Well, we'll see on Saturday. Morrell had started taunting Benavidez even before fight night, with many believing this animosity played a role in pushing Benavidez out of retirement. There was no love lost between the two light heavyweight rivals, as they even clashed on Tuesday, ahead of their much-anticipated showdown on February 1st at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Given the heated tension and bad blood between them, fans eagerly anticipated an explosive main event. Their hostility escalated during a media workout in Miami, where neither fighter hesitated to get physical. It remains unclear what sparked the confrontation, but Benavidez was the first to make a move, shoving Morrell hard in the chest. Morrell responded by taking his WBA championship belt and hurling it at Benavidez. Speaking to reporters about the altercation, Benavidez explained his side of the story in footage aired by Fight Hub TV. "I tried to shake his hand and be cool. At the last press conference, we were talking trash, but afterward, we shook hands, so I expected the same thing here. Plus, it was my birthday. I didn't want to get too aggressive," Benavidez said. "I tried to shake his hand, but he kept running his mouth. I'm not letting anyone disrespect me like that. I don't know who this guy thinks he is, acting like he's the hardest guy on the planet, but I'm going to beat the hell out of him." With his retirement, Benavidez has officially closed the door on a potential mega fight against Canelo Alvarez, a bout he had long pursued. While Canelo never outright refused to fight Benavidez, he made it clear that financial incentives had to justify the risk. The Mexican superstar explained his stance, stating that if he beat a smaller opponent like Terence Crawford, critics would say it did little for his legacy. However, if he lost, he would be remembered as the man who was defeated by a smaller fighter. To him, the risk wasn't worth it. Meanwhile, Benavidez posed an entirely different challenge, standing at 6 feet compared to Canelo's 5'9" frame. This significant size difference may be one reason why Alvarez reportedly demanded a $200 million payday to face Benavidez. Rather than waiting endlessly for the fight to materialize, Benavidez decided months ago to move on. He informed the World Boxing Council, WBC, that he would relinquish his mandatory challenger status for Canelo's super middleweight titles and instead focus on establishing himself at light heavyweight. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman acknowledged Benavidez's decision, stating that while the organization couldn't guarantee him a title fight against Canelo, they could sanction a mandatory light heavyweight fight instead. This was Benavidez's decision, Sulaiman explained. He doesn't want to waste any more time waiting for Canelo. He wants to build his own legacy and take his own path. Many believed Benavidez had a bright future ahead of him, with plenty of opportunities to cement his status in boxing history. However, with his unexpected retirement, his last victory will remain his hard-fought win over Oleksandr Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk, nicknamed The Nail for his powerful offensive abilities, showed just how tough he was during that fight. The 37-year-old absorbed everything Benavidez threw at him over 12 grueling rounds, serving as a tough test for Benavidez, who had just moved up to 175 lbs in search of new challenges. And with that, Benavidez's career comes to a close, leaving fans wondering what could have been. For the latest updates, news, and exclusive moments in the world of boxing, stay connected with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications to stay informed whenever we drop quality content. Until next time, time out.